Fuzion here, back with another reaction video. Um, I got a double upload today for you guys today. Later on, I have a J. Cole video that you guys want to check out. Make sure you are subscribed so you can make sure that you get that notification. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. John Morant, it looks like the trade deadline is up, is soon to be up. So we got a couple people moving around and a couple names and teams that could be on some moves. On the move to make some huge moves here. We got John Morant, Giannis. I've seen some AD conversation being traded or being talked about as well. Uh, yeah, so there's a couple things here. Let's go ahead and get started with the video, and then we'll go from there.
In Detroit last night, Cade Cunningham had 22. Pistons beat the Nuggets in a good one, 109-107. Wild ending. Jamal Murray was fouled on not one but two three-point attempts in the final 3.5 seconds while trailing by 3 both times, but he missed at least one foul shot in both of the instances, and in the end, Detroit holds on to win. In Oklahoma City, SGA had 29 points for the Thunder as the Pelicans, the Thunder beat.
So just real quick, these two teams, OKC and what was that other team? The Nuggets. I feel like they need one more piece. I think that injuries, certain things are going to stop this Thunder's team's run this season. I feel like they could use something, someone who's a little bit more consistent, like to score the basketball, to help out Shea. Maybe even another big who could help out on the defensive end and on the rebounding end when you got to take out what's his name. Yeah, for some reason I can't think of his name. But there's a couple teams here that I feel like could use some help. That there are players out there that they could try to pick up, try to trade, whatever the case may be, to improve their chances for sure.
The Pelicans for the 13th straight time. The 9-point win, SGA's 118th straight game with at least 20 points. That's just 8 behind Wilt Chamberlain's NBA record, 126 straight 20-point games. And then in Philly, Joel Embiid hyped up his crowd and hyped up his teammates after slamming down this alley-oop, going up and throwing it down. Embiid had 29 points as the Sixers beat the shorthanded Bucks 139-122. Milwaukee, of course, without Giannas as he deals with a right calf strain. He also deals with the approaching trade deadline, and that means we got some business to deal with Brian Windhorst. The Windman is up with us early.
Yep, so before he does get started, I think that there are a few teams that need to make moves so they can, like, be competitive and make a push for the championship. Sorry, their faces were looking weird when I paused it. Lakers. The Lakers are missing a consistent offensive scorer that's not named a LeBron James or Luka. Luka's shot making ability is great. He knows how to make a hard shot. He can do that. Sometimes we don't need him to do that. Sometimes we need him to find an easier shot or a shot that is more accessible so your teammates can be prepared to get an offensive rebound. You taking those long threes, those step back, lazy threes that come off of the rim super, super hard, flies off somewhere, hard rebound, forcing your bigs and your team to adjust. It's just not a good look. It forces them to make a decision and gets them out of position. So when we have like athletic bigs like Jackson Hayes, like DeAndre Ayton, who can get an offensive rebound and dunk the basketball. Hopefully DeAndre Ayton can be a consistent athletic big. Sometimes I feel like he be being lazy. But, you know, there are things that he can do for us that I feel like goes unnoticed, and in a good and bad way. Luka and DeAndre Ayton that could be rectified with different players. I still feel like that there is a way for us to get John Morant on this team. We do need a point guard. I feel like Luka is doing what he can, and he's doing great at the position that he is being provided in. But a passing point guard who is willing to throw the ball and pass the ball is great. It'll always be great. Ja Morant can do that. He's an athletic guy. He's not a great consistent shooter, so we'll have another slasher on the court. We always have slashers, so I feel like we need someone who can shoot the ball as well. But another athlete to a team that can and should be built to run and go quickly and go fast and try to get points up, adding someone like that, I don't know if we can, would not be a bad pickup in my opinion. And just to get him off the board as well. Sometimes just a pickup is a great defensive move.
Again, February 5th is around the corner. Giannis has a calf, and there's a lot of conversation. What do we need to know as we get to the trade deadline?
Yeah, the Bucks are out there on the phones, Greeny, calling to try to acquire talent, which is both fascinating and confusing the rest of the league because this team is going nowhere. They're now, as you mentioned, 3-12 without Giannis, and the indication would be that they need to either tank or trade Giannis or do both. They are now in 7th in terms of their draft pick position, and even though they have to swap their pick swap, it would be swapped with New Orleans, who's at the top. Their team is 3 games out of the play-in right now, and Giannis has no timetable to return. So right now they are not actively looking to trade Giannis, but the league is waiting for that moment to happen.
Sorry, guys, I'm drinking water. Should the Bucks trade Giannis? That's the big question. That is really what we are trying to decide. Shout out to all the Bucks fans out there. One of my old coworkers, one of my homeboys, he's a Bucks fan. Hopefully he's doing all right. Having to deal with Lakers issues, honestly. So the Bucks has turned into a scrapyard. I feel like they have decent pieces that just don't work well together. Sometimes I feel like there are players like what's his name? Kuzma, who has great upside and has a possibility to be a quality upside player. Just for him to troll. I mean, a shot chucking mid player is one of the worst type of players that you want on your team, especially when your star player can't shoot a fucking jump shot. That's all that is. I mean, Giannis can work at a lot of different places as a second option, as a main defending option, as a superstar. But unfortunately, the way he plays is only fast and attacking the basket. So you need players who can shoot the ball and be consistent. There is a reason that Damian Lillard did not work. I think that Damian Lillard is a great player. He can shoot the three and hit threes and be consistent at it. The problem is I don't think he can run anymore. I don't think you can run with Giannis anymore. I'm still waiting on a time and a place where a Giannis and a Russell Westbrook team can pull up. I don't think that Russell Westbrook is the greatest point guard. I do think he is better than a lot of these point guards that you have in the top 5. But that's a different conversation for a completely different another day. But someone who can run with him, who has the energy to run with him, someone who can defend, who wants to defend, who wants to be athletic, who wants to push the tempo and the pace. You pair him up with Giannis, give him a few days, or a few games rather, and either it's going to work out or it's going to be the worst team ever. But I feel like there's something there. If you can surround them with people who can actually shoot the ball, obviously that's a problem. Giannis is not a reliable shooter, and neither is Russ. But whatever Russ does, he does well. Be it having to be the defender, be the energy guy, be the person who pushes the pace. He can do that. And he has someone else who can push the pace as well right beside him with Giannis.
The injury that a lot of people will cast a skeptical eye. Oh, it's sort of convenient that he gets hurt right before the trade deadline and all the rest of that. What What, if any, impact does his injury have on the possibility of him being traded?
Yeah, this injury is significant because this is the 4th time in 19 months he has had a calf strain. No matter what you believe, that is a concerning number. That is another reason why there is a pathway here for the Bucks to shut this down and not trade Giannis and tank and try to get their draft pick so that they can reevaluate their future. That said, that is not an indication that they are making. And Giannis, his season is not over. 4 to 6 weeks is the expectation, but the Bucks didn't announce a timetable, Greeny, and that's because I think they want to leave the tanking option open.
So I'm going to ask you to do something that reporters hate to do, and that is guess. Would it be your expectation that he does get traded before February 5th or not?
When I talk to teams in the league, they all believe he's going to get traded by next Thursday. Team after team after team that I talk to are preparing for it. My view, however, is that there is another pathway here for them to tank this season, get a high draft pick, return to Giannis and say, Giannis, we're going to give you a $275 million extension this fall. How do you feel about playing with a young star player?
There's a possibility that you can try your best to hold Giannis one more year. You can give Giannis another year. If you're not successful after that, he moves on. Unfortunately, I don't know if that'll be the case. I think there's just too many question marks that you have to rely on with a player like Giannis, because he's not a shooter. He's not going to shoot. He's going to be a defender. He's going to be pushing the pace. He's going to be all that. So, yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I'm conflicted because I think there's a couple places where Giannis can work. I think there is a way for the Bucks to fix this. I think that they have the personnel where if they added 1 or 2 pieces in this trade deadline, that there's a possibility. The problem is I don't think they're going to try to do that. They're going to keep on trying to push this weird team comp of solid defenders but 0 floor spacers, or people who pretend they are floor spacers, but when it's time to actually space the floor, they don't fucking do it, and then they struggle. That's what happens with the Bucks. They have pretend floor spacers. Damian Lillard, he's a great floor spacer. Could not stay on the damn floor to save his life. Injury prone. Chris Middleton, great floor spacer. Knows how to space the floor. Injured every fucking other game. Brook Lopez, they got rid of him. There are great floor spacers out there that the Bucks had and need. Unfortunately, they don't know how to make a fucking shot. Gary Trent Jr., overrated floor spacer. Kyle Kuzma, one of the players that I hate damn near the most. One of the most inconsistent, great shooters I've ever seen in my life. And the Bucks got to make a decision. Either keep hoping that these players, turn out to be the players that we expect them to be and that we know that they can be, or give up and move on and try to tank or trade Giannis for another big name player or a piece to try to find another player to help your franchise.
Will that interest you? And if he's not interested, then you revisit a trade situation in the summer.
Okay, and then quickly, there's 2 other names that people are interested in hearing about, Anthony Davis and Ja Morant. What, if anything, should we know about them a week and a day away?
Yeah, both of them are also injured right now. This is not an ideal situation to trade a player. None of those injuries are long-term, but their markets are kind of flat. Like in the case of Ja Morant,
I'm going to interrupt after this. These 2 players, big-name players, they can help your franchise. They can also hurt that bitch. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, dude. They're not reliable enough for you to build your team around. Ja Morant isn't an injury prone player, but there are just stuff that he does that's gonna make or break him being on the court or not. Sometimes he's gonna fuck up by doing stupid shit. That's what's going to happen with John Morant. Anthony Davis is injury prone. We all know this. So for that, you need a star. You need 2 or 3 stars on your team to sort of brace yourself for these two to make the same or have the same issues that they've always had, and then you'll be okay. The Mavs, I think they can make some trades. I think people want Anthony Davis and know how to use Anthony Davis. I don't know about John Morant. I am not 100% about John Morant. That's pretty much all I got for my video today, guys. Again, we got a double upload today, as well as I got some shorts that will be coming out as well. So make sure you guys look out for those also. Also check out our TikTok, man. I post on there pretty often. I try to do it daily. Haven't been doing it daily. I'm gonna be 100, but yeah, man. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.